KDB. KDB. Beats Planet.
All right, come on in, man. Me and Master William are excited to see y'all.
Yes.
Me and Master William are excited to be back in the saddle. Me and Master William hated being on vacation so long. We hated being away from the stream so long. We hated.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No.
Nah.
Stop the cap.
We love a good day off, don't we, Will Steele?
Yes, sir. Especially when you know it's about to get crazy.
Yeah. Normally every week, Monday, I give a rundown of what's going to happen for the rest of the week. I tap into my volume group chat, my handy dandy volume group chat, and I'll let everybody know what's to come. You know, the rundown this week is only like 3 days, really, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But boy, the depth of things that come with that rundown, Will Steele.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? The amount of thumbnails we need, the amount of moving parts we need. I need all these streams set up. Voch is even trying to be considerate to my team, right? Like, hey, you can just send a thumbnail to me because I'm be working at 3:00 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm be up late. And I don't want y'all up late just because I'm up late. You know what I mean? Like, so when it's draft season and we draft a player in the first round and y'all wake up in the morning, 6:00 in the morning, 7 on the East Coast, and y'all go, oh, Voch put up a new film session on this dude we just drafted. That don't just happen magically. That ain't Santa Claus dropping them dudes off. We're up late putting in the overtime, but that's just what comes along with it, So it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of work, a lot of analysis, but we're gonna be live Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Footsie King and Will Steele are gonna join me momentarily before they dip off and take care of their other obligations on their show. But it's gonna be that same feel that y'all are used to when I do these live reaction shows. If this is your first time, welcome. Shouts out to you. But yes, you get the fun that we always have. You get the jokes, the back and forth. We're gonna make fun of people that's at their house, and we may see something funny at their house. We're gonna touch on that, have a lot of fun. But boy, the analysis is gonna be second to none. And I just want to make sure that y'all know what y'all getting before y'all log into that situation. You hear me? Appreciate y'all though. Today we're gonna go over some of my rankings here. I need to pull that up on my situation there. I didn't want to do a ranking for every single position because who cares about what I think about the safeties? You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care about what I think about the safeties. Or just not enough to rank them, or the quarterbacks. Like my team got a quarterback, right? But I did rank positions that I felt I just need to keep track of how they flying off the board and things like that. So y'all, when Cowboys draft these guys, y'all would like to know where I have them ranked. So I did do wide receivers, I did offensive line, and I did edge guys, right? Never know. So we're gonna be going over that, plus mock draft version 1 point only. I'm not doing 2. I do one per year. We're gonna go over that. I'm gonna tell you why I made some of these decisions. In the word of the late great Bernie Mac, I ain't scared of you MFers. If y'all see something you don't like, who cares? It's a mock draft. If you see something on my rankings you don't like, who cares? I'm Voch.
I ain't scared of you, mother.
Thank you so much, Master William. It is what it is. But we're going to break that down today, man. Love y'all to pieces. I'm your host, Voch Lombardi.
A.K.A. Ferrari.
VOCHLOMBARDI on all social media platforms, being point guarded by the best in the business, about to get this big bag from the volume.
Come on now.
That's enough.
Will Steele.
No more. Big Willie, my game is grown.
Hey.
You call me William.
You was talking about late nights. It just reminded me a couple years ago, after the Michael Parsons first round pick, UK Cowboys was doing this whole, hey, let's get everybody in Cowboys land on.
Yeah.
I was one of the last people, bro. I was up till like 3:00 in the morning. And then right after they was done, I did the whole Michael Parsons reaction video. You could quite literally hear it in my voice, see it in my eyes. So he ain't lying when we say we'd be up late as hell trying to get this stuff done for you, man.
Yeah, appreciate you. Balanced Vic says version 1 point only is original as F.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I appreciate y'all, man. It's a Lombardi. No, I'm not dropping a big board this year. I just the more I do this, the more I realize for me that big boards are just useless. But if you ask me which player, if you want to play the Voch game, be like Voch, this player or this player, I can definitely do that for you in a Q&A format towards the end of the show. We do that. But I ain't doing all that shit, man. But let's get into it though. Master William, let's take a look at them wide receivers, man. You ain't doing nothing else.
We ain't doing nothing else
first. Then we're gonna tap in with the mocks. Okay. I don't want y'all to take my mock too seriously, right? It ain't what I would do. If it was me, DeJuan Jones would be way up in the top 10 somewhere. You know what I mean? But this is more as just an exercise, just a simulation of type of stuff I think would happen, but whatever. Boy, I dropped my wide receiver list yesterday, Will Steele. But Voch, you know how they do. But Voch, why you got Jordan Addison so far down and you got Jonathan Mingo so far up? Well, we got to talk about it. Jonathan Mingo, man. Well, okay, let's go top to bottom, Will Steele. Bottom to top. I think that's a little better. 10 Tank Dell. I think we all like Tank Dell. Shifty guy, yak guy, good hands guy, quick guy, route guy. Special teams, if you want to throw some of that in there, slot dude. Once I got to this point of wide receivers, it started to run a little dry for me, in terms of the guys that are there. And I like nuance, Will Steele, and Tank Dell's one of the last dudes in this whole situation to have nuance. So people was like, well, Voch, what about like Marvin Mims? He cool. He'll be like 11. Voch, what about A.T. Perry? I like him, big slot guy. He'll be like 11. Voch, what you think about insert whatever, the Iowa State kid? Yeah, he'll be about 11. You know what I mean? Everybody that's not on this list will probably be about 11. You know what I mean? But I like Tank Dell. Fun player. Shouts out to him. Cool. Have you seen Charlie Jones, Will Steele?
I was just about to, say something to you. Like, I'm surprised you got Charlie Jones this high, because I kind of was trying to label him as like a sleeper. But yeah, I like him. I think he'd be excuse me, fantastic slot option for you, probably late day 2, early day 3.
I think it's hard for anybody to sleep on Charlie Jones. And I think Charlie Jones is one of these players that exposes people's film watching, right? Because if there's a person that watch film and they say that they're a thorough film watcher or whatever, there's no way you watched Joey Porter Jr. and didn't discover Charlie Jones. Some things you just do by accident, right? Like, I think the first time I ever hated Osiris Torrance was watching like Jalen Carter, right? He was beating the shit out of him, right? So I was watching Penn State.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull that film up. Apologies if it doesn't work, but
don't worry about it. I was watching I was watching Penn State, Joey Porter Jr. And I just could not help. I just could not avoid this kid, Charlie Jones beating the shit out of Joey Porter. I'm like, damn, dog, I'm looking for plays for Joey Porter for me to document and come back and report to y'all about Joey Porter. And this kid, Charlie Jones, is just routing them up. This kid, Charlie Jones, is just getting away, creating separation from Joey Porter. If Joey Porter does get hip to hip with Charlie Jones, Charlie don't drop nothing. Charlie just got hands out of this world. I'm like, man, why we not talking about Charlie Jones? Charlie Jones, one of them dudes that would end up being one of the best players in this draft. You know what I mean? You know how it is, one of them 5th round guys that overcome all odds. They end up with a Pat Mahomes type character and they just hang around the league for a long time. Charlie Jones, one of them dudes. And I like him. You called him, you called him, like a sleeper, low key.
Very early in our me and Foots were talking about very early. Like, I'm talking about maybe when we first started, and he was a sleeper at that time. Nobody was really talking about no Charlie Jones as one of the top wide receivers in the draft, but
yeah.
Love
me some there you go. Love me some Charlie Jones. And like I say with these other wide receivers, man, if you can look at your resume and be like, hey, Charlie Jones, what's on your resume? Well, I go watch Joey Porter, go watch what I did versus him. So I think that'll be that'll be something to put on his resume. Somebody in the chat said, what round does Charlie Jones go in? I don't know. I just know I like him. So like the league may see him as a 4th round guy, possibly, maybe as a late 3rd round guy. Maybe that's a bit high, but it don't really matter. I like Charlie Jones. And I like the idea that Will Steele pulled this film in particular to show y'all Charlie Jones, because that's where he really like he can beat anybody, but it really stands out when you see Charlie Jones versus
Me.
you good when you see Charlie Jones versus one of those characters, right? Jordan Addison. People ask, why is he so low on my board, or just so low on my list? And it's crazy because he's top 10. he's top 10 on my list. Like, what do you what do you mean by he's low on my list? And the thing about Addison is that I don't hate Addison. I just think I like the other guys a little more than him. Somebody on Twitter asked me a really good question. They'll say, well, Voch, I see that you're a little low on Addison, in which I'm not. But they was like, did you watch his Pittsburgh film and his USC film? And I said, I like his Pittsburgh film a lot more. And then I started thinking, should that be a knock against him that he's better with this team than he is this team, that he's not consistent across the board? I don't know. I just started thinking about it, but deep threat guy, I don't know if he's going to be too much of an outside guy, but he can probably play some flanker for you. But he's another slot guy that I think would be really good out there. But Jordan Addison, I think a lot of teams are probably going to drop him because of size, and he showed up to the combine not really doing combine things like people thought he was going to do. If you're a slimmer, I don't want to say small, but if you're a slimmer, slighter, leaner, speed guy, they want to see you be speed guy. And you ran that 4.5, so that could be a thing to do with it. Cedric Tillman is a guy that you got to watch his 2021 film in order to really appreciate him. But he's a slant monster, physical player, hands guy, catch the ball away from his body, true X receiver. There's not a lot of X receivers here. And Cedric Tillman is one of them. And I think he's really good. But like I said, you got to go to his 2021 film. His 22 film is shit. And that might be the reason he's down on my board here. I'm going to speed this up a little bit, but I feel like it's just so many talking points I got to get off on some of these guys. Jalen Hyatt is here because of ceiling, right? I'm a floor guy. I like to know what I'm getting fresh out the box, but Jalen Hyatt, if you can figure him out, Will Steele, and I don't think there's much to be figured out, right? But, he wasn't asked to do a whole bunch at Tennessee. He just kind of ran past people, Will, and that's cool. But if you can develop Jalen Hyatt to do more than that, damn, Jalen Hyatt could be better than many dudes on this list. If you can develop Jalen Hyatt, I think he does have a trait that's considered elite. And if you're a player that has a trait that's elite, then I think you deserve to be given that chance to see if you can fix the rest of this stuff. It's not like he's a bad nuanced player. He just doesn't have it right now. You know what I mean? So Jalen Hyatt is 6. I may like Cedric Tillman more than Jalen Hyatt right now, but Hyatt has the upside plus his floor that makes me like him.
Yeah. I ended up watching Tillman and came away with a similar thought about Hyatt. And now I'm not talking about their play. It was that they don't have a nuanced route tree. And I'm starting to wonder if that's because of the offense now. Because when you got two talented receivers like this and they're both kind of stuck doing one or two things, I wonder if that was the offense. And maybe both of these guys have a higher ceiling than we think in the NFL if they are given the ability to expand their route tree. Different style of players. One's a speedster, take the top off. Cedric Tillman is more of a 50-50 possession type of guy, but I wonder if they were being held back a little bit.
Sure. Fantastic point, Will Steele. I like Josh Downs. I ain't got to say much about him, but just Josh Downs is a more nuanced player. Voch loves nuance. He's a great route runner, good yak guy as a slot receiver. I just like him. Have you seen Jonathan Mingo, Will Steele?
Yeah, we discussed him. He got mocked to the Cowboys in round 2.
I'll take it.
It's pretty high, but the way we came away with it, I said I like Jonathan Mingo. I probably wouldn't skip too much.
And me and Foots the King's mock draft, he bullied me into taking Cody Mock in the second round. I didn't want to take Cody Mock. I want to take somebody else. But that was his pick or whatever. But we ended up getting Mingo in the 3rd. Mingo is my wide receiver 4. And I think a lot of people, like when people talk about Mingo and what they don't like about him, they say, well, his production is not consistent. Man, you know how much goes into consistent production for a wide receiver?
Yeah, it's tricky.
A lot goes into that, man. Like, what's your coach doing? What's your quarterback doing? Is your quarterback doing too much? If he has inconsistent production, you would think he ain't getting open or he dropping passes or something like that. You know what I mean? Man, but when you watch the good from Mingo, guy, blocker, ball tracking, ball skills. You know what I'm saying? Speed to get on top of the defense. Blocking. I said blocking already. And in my mind, if you see it from somebody, just keep putting them in that situation where they can do it again, right? If Jonathan Mingo gives you these things good sometimes, but you feel like he's inconsistent, then you need to consistently put him in situations where he's doing good things. That's why I got Jonathan Mingo as my number 4 guy. He was 5, but he kept climbing because I feel like is you can do more with him than Josh Downs, right? Josh Downs is a slot guy, you know, for the most part, right? Mingo can go all over the place. And Mingo is a true X guy. He's like 6'2",
220-ish. Yeah.
Something like that. 220, big dude. You give me Jonathan Mingo, man, we're going to go party, bro. Quentin Johnson, I shouldn't have to explain Quentin Johnson at this point. If I have to explain anything, it's why Zay Flowers is better than Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson is a dude that I think has a very good base skill sets where if you teach him the rest of wide receivering, he could be better. Zay Flowers got that shit right now. Zay Flowers has those things right now. Now, Zay Flowers doesn't have the physical build as Quentin Johnson. Zay Flowers got all the wide receiver things I like, even above the shoulders, over Quentin Johnson. That's why Zay Flowers is my number 2 guy. I mean, and of course, Jaxon was the number 1 receiver, right? Quarterback friendly, smart, route runner, shows hands when the right time. Sneaky yak guy, slippery smooth dude. I ain't gotta say much about Jaxon being wide receiver 1. If anybody says Zay Flowers was wide receiver 1 because of he does some of the things that Njigba does, but he has the speed, quickness, you know, yak advantage, I wouldn't hate you for saying that, but Jaxon was my guy. Will, do you have any gripes about my wide receiver list?
I would say Mingo is a bit surprised that high, and Addison at 8 would probably be the 2 that I would say, you know, those will probably be reversed on a lot of people's lists. But I mean, these are some talented dudes that I'll use what you use for Mingo. If you use them and what they do very well, they can do some good things for you in this league. Tank Dell is going to be the interesting one though, man, because he's tiny, man. He's a real little dude, but he is so quick, and I think he could be a super problem in the slot. In kind of the opposite way of Charlie, where Charlie's a terrific route runner, but he got size and sneaky speed. Tank doesn't have the blazing speed for testing, but in the game, that quickness is hard to deal with.
Yeah. Fair enough, Master William. I feel like people want to hear my offensive line takes, so let's do this O-line list.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I do my O-line list, ladies and gentlemen, I do it all together. I do O-line all together as a whole. I do tackle, guard, center all together. I do think all these positions are different positions. You know, guard is different from center, but you know, Tom Brady is a better player than Devin Singletary, right? Like they play different positions, but you can, you know what I mean? Like that. So that's how I look at this thing. Offensive line. Did they choose to put Paris on the graphic? That's something else. That ain't DeJuan Jones. Come on, graphics guy. Put my number 1 guy up there and quit playing, bro. Whatever. I'm gonna do this a little different. I'm going to kind of hit the hot spots where I think is interesting. And the first hot spot that people see and that I've gotten into the most fights about Will Steele is DeJuan Jones being offensive tackle 1.
Yeah.
Now, this is my thing about DeJuan Jones. And it's crazy what they bring up in these fights sometimes, Will Steele. Like, I'll be like, DeJuan Jones is tackle number 1. And they be like, do you worry about DeJuan Jones with quick bendy dudes? I say, nah, because if you watch a film, DeJuan don't lose to quick bendy dudes. Show me the film where he loses to quick bendy dudes. And when they can't do that, they say something like, well, DeJuan Jones plays right tackle. When does he play against quick bendy dudes? I'm like, quick bendy dudes play against right tackles all the time. What you saying?
Yeah, this ain't 1991 anymore, dude. Yeah. They everywhere. These rushers is everywhere.
Paris loses to quick bendy dudes more than DeJuan Jones does. If I can make an argument, Paris doesn't have an elite trait to me. Paris is a great athlete. Paris has great size. And I think at times Paris can have great footwork. But Paris does not have an elite trait. DeJuan Jones has an elite trait. His arm length.
He's Gigantuate. He's freaking huge.
It's Tyree Wilson. I mean, it's Tyree Wilson, DeJuan Jones, and John Jones. They got the longest arms in the world, Will Steele. And when I watch DeJuan Jones, I just simply see a dude that doesn't lose fights. And the best thing about this is which really kills me with the Paris versus DeJuan crowd that hate me for the Paris thing. They on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
You can look over there, right? And I feel like if you let people if you let people think for you, then it's easy to come away with this. It's easy to come away. Well, people say that Paris Johnson's better, so I'm gonna say he better. Well, all the mock drafts all year have had Paris higher than DeJuan, so I'm just gonna say he better. Let the film on. And I think at the end of the day, Will Steele, this is a very barbaric way to think about it, but this is the only way that makes me feel this way, though, Will. If two dudes are on the same offensive line, who wins more, who loses more? It should be that simple. It's not. And I'll break down why. It should be that simple. But when I watch DeJuan Jones, he don't lose fights. I've seen Paris lose fights.
How can he? He's 6'8", like 380. It's ridiculous, man. This guy is massive.
At the end of go ahead.
What's most impressive is a guy that size can move that well. Remember that Minnesota dude from last year who was supposed to be huge in
Oye Mafe? I mean, you are talking about the offensive lineman. Yeah,
offensive lineman, yeah. Minnesota guy. He was supposed to move like DeJuan Jones. He don't. DeJuan Jones, for his size, moves extremely well.
Yeah. So just breaking this down, right? Because somebody asked the question, who has the highest ceiling? Paris clearly has the highest ceiling. But this comes down to, are you floor guy or are you ceiling guy? DeJuan Jones is the better offensive lineman right now. But when it comes to drafting, Will, you know that old rule that we do when we draft, and it's all about the prospect. Sometimes the allure of a prospect is more than the allure of a player. You know what I'm saying? You can get a dude, Michael Sam can lead the SEC in sacks or something like that, or the SEC, you know what I mean? But he wasn't a great player. Like, sometimes the prospect gets ranked over the production and the actual player. But I don't think offensive line works like that, because I think, however you win, that's your resume, right? That's your resume. So how do you use your traits, to win? DeJuan Jones may only have arm length and, size and power and all that. He may only have arm length, but if he don't lose only using arm length, then who cares? Why do we care right now? Paris got all the traits in the world, but I've seen him get his back hip taken from an edge. I've seen people bull rush him. I've seen people run him over. I ain't seen that from DeJuan Jones. That's why DeJuan is my number one. Broderick Jones, who can be a guard or a tackle, has physical traits also. But I just see Broderick Jones get pushed around a little less than Paris does. I see Paris get pushed around a good bit. I don't see that from Broderick Jones. Now, Broderick is a natural wrestling type dude. Like, he one of them offensive linemen that love to get up on you and wrestle. So he got a natural good temperament about him that I do like. I'm not saying the Paris don't have it. We just talking about Broderick right now. But Broderick has technique things to learn also. And I almost feel myself being phony about Broderick versus Darnell Wright. Because when I watch Darnell Wright, Darnell's not a wrestler. Darnell's a technician. He is a mauler, but I don't think he's a wrestler. I think maulers and wrestlers are kind of different. We can talk about that later if y'all want to. But just like with Slater a couple years ago, Will Steele, what can you put on your resume? What do you put on your resume, Will Steele? And Darnell Wright walks in his mug going, beat the shit out of Will Anderson, beat the shit out of BJ Ojolari.
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of XYZ defensive end that ever rolled up against me. What else you need me to say, sir? And I look at Dwight and I'll be fair enough. I'll look at him and I'll just be like, fair enough. And Darnell Wright. On top of Darnell Wright being the guy that beat those guys, he's a technical dude. He's a hand fighter. He baits and fakes with the hands. He pulls cloth. He rips dudes to the ground. Then he has mauler ability. I actually had to fight about this, man. I think Darnell might be a better player than Broderick. And I might be being a little phony. I might be being a coward right now. I don't know. But Darnell's my 3 guy. I want to put Darnell at 2. But Darnell's my 3 guy for right now. That'll naturally leave Paris at 4 and John Michael Smith at 5. Now, people are going to be like, but Voch, why is Peter Skoronski at 7? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
My bad. Yeah, he's at 6. I got you. Huh?
So who is 7? Okay, cool. Steve Avila. No, Steve Avila. 8. Oh, okay. Avila 8.
Avila's
okay.
8. Oh, you're right. They didn't.
Well, what is y'all?
Okay, they put 2-8. They first of all, they spelled Mafi's name wrong. And they put 2-8. So Avila's 7. Anton's 8.
Yeah. That's the order. Yeah, that's the order.
Okay.
Damn, I ain't got that. That ain't the one I got on Twitter. Bro, I'm sent you the wrong shit. All right, cool. Voch, Peter Skoronski, why is he at 7? How you expect me to believe that he the best offensive lineman on your board and people don't even know where to put him at? People don't even know where he play. People don't even know if he a guard or if he a tackle or not. Will Steele, somebody say Peter Skoronski is going to be the next Zach Martin. Cut this shit off. They say he's going to be the next Zach Martin, Will Steele.
I keep hearing that too.
And they call me a hater for not believing that. Have you seen this film?
Yeah, I mean, yo, he got him at 7. So it ain't like you all the way out on him.
Ain't like you down there with Torrance and then, you know. But Skoronski's a good player.
Yeah, I actually like. I think me and you are different on Skoronski. I like Skoronski.
I like him too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine. Listen, I don't think there's a slam dunk. This isn't a slam dunk tackle draft like it was before. You know what I mean? With the Slaters and the Sewells. I don't think there's those in this draft. So I think it's okay to have different opinions on the top 5 guys.
Yeah. I like Skoronski, man. I just don't like him more than Dewan, Broderick, Darnell, and Paris. You know what I mean? And I do think he's a tackle. I just think he's a tackle that needs to learn how to deal with long arm dudes. I don't think he's a guard because he's not powerful enough for me to be a guard. Some people say he's powerful. Some people say he's Zach Martin. I don't think people remember how hard it is to be goddamn Zach Martin, to just get into a fight with Aaron Donald constantly and just win. You know how hard that is? And then Peter Skoronski, no damn Zach Martin. Anyway, Steve Avila, number 7. Anton Harrison's number 8. Will still like Anton Harrison. Yes, I have Molly, Antonio Molly. I have him ranked higher than Osiris Torrance. Will still, you're not going to believe this because you know I get petty. I went back in the Patreon, right? And I watched Osiris Torrance for a 3rd time just to make sure I ain't missing nothing. Different film and everything. I ain't missing nothing. That dude ain't good, and I'm being a coward by even putting him on the list.
Yeah, if you say he ain't good, then he shouldn't even be up here.
I'm being a coward by even putting him on the list, Will Steele. I was just giving myself room for like maybe I missed something. Osiris ain't good. Osiris is a body catcher. Osiris, I think he's L word. I don't think he S word, but I do think he L word. And people call him a mauler. When I think of a mauler, I think of the dude at 3, 9, and 11. Them dude is maulers. Them dudes maul people. Can anybody show me film of Osiris Torrance mauling anybody?
Remember how earlier you said maybe the thought of the prospect kind of overtakes people? I wonder if that's the case when it comes to Osiris Torrance.
Osiris ain't good, man. Voorhees should be ranked higher than him, but I guess I only did this because of the injury or whatever. And Chandler Zavala can be lower than Osiris. It's okay. You know, Zavala like a 4th round guy, but I do like Zavala. Go ahead. Finish before I go into one guy I would love to put in here. Okay. But yeah, that's my list or whatever, you know. And I was just about to ask you, did you have any, you know, anything that jumped out?
My only pushback is I would include Bergeron in here somewhere.
I like Bergeron. I like
him more than Zavala. Obviously, Voorhees is, you know, he's hurt, so I would put him above him. Yeah.
You care better than Osiris. Better than Osiris. Yep.
But see, so it's so hard with Mafi. Hear me out here, because boy, you put on Mafi and them bodies hit the floor and you get excited and you know what I'm saying. You just be like, man, I love that Mafi on my team. But then you also see the kind of, all right, he just started playing tackle or offensive line. Like the nuances, the technique, things are still being developed. Where I think Bergeron, I think he's got it all. He just got to be consistent in certain things. And stop me if you heard this before. At left tackle, you see some deficiencies in his when he gets deep into his sets, right? You see how he kind of could lose a little bit. But I'm trying to move him to guard, Voch. I'm trying to move him to guard. So if I move him to guard, I think it mitigates that. And that kind of reminds me of Tyler Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Where Tyler last year, we both were like, look, he's got quality reps at left tackle. But all the things that bother him at left tackle, if you put him in guard, a lot of that can go away. I feel that about Bergeron. I think he should be in the top 10 or top 12.
I do think Bergeron would be a really good guard. I mean, if he was on my list somewhere, he'd be like 13. Somebody asked, what about Jalen Duncan? Yeah, he'll be like 13. Somebody say, what about Cody Mock? Yeah, he'll be about 13. I like Mock. I like Jalen Duncan. I should just leave Osiris off the board. But whatever. Somebody said, what about the Tennessee Chattanooga kid? Yeah, 13. Yeah, something like that.
I'm Marv brought him up this morning. I have to go wash him. I haven't washed him. Curtis kid.
Yeah, Curtis
McClendon, something like that. McClendon, Curtis, Curtis, McClendon.
Don't worry about it.
Is it like who was it? Who was the other dude? I forget. It was like which time?
Tibman to be about 13. I really like Juice Scruggs though. From Penn State. I like him a lot. And he'll be about 13th also. Yeah. So yeah. All right, let's get this out of the way, Will Sell. Let's get edges out the way. And we're gonna glance over this mock draft one time. We're gonna get into the phones. We got 5 people on the phone. That's perfect.
The conference has been locked.
That's perfect. All right. I don't think my edge rushing rankings are pretty controversial. You know, now if this ranking would have came out months ago, people would call me crazy because you know how they do when they see some shit that they ain't seen, but whatever. But I think people getting behind Nolan Smith now. I think they're getting behind Will McDonald. They're getting behind Ojulari. I see more and more people every day go, man, how the hell Luke Van Ness gonna be a top 10 dude? You know what I mean? I see more and more people saying that every day. So I'm curious to see how that turned out. I'm seeing more and more people acknowledging that Miles Murphy ain't as good as he think he is, right? Or as y'all think he is, but whatever. But Will Anderson, number one, he's my number one guy because he's floor guy, right? He's floor guy. I know exactly what I'm going to get when I get Will Anderson. He may not be a Pro Bowler, Will still. He may not be a Hall of Fame All-Pro guy, but at least I know he's going to be a good player. I know he's just going to roll out the bed and be a good player. Fresh out the box, he's going to be a good player. Nolan Smith, y'all know how much I love Nolan Smith. I love him enough to put him as my number 2 player. Why is he higher than Tyree? Because I love nuance. I love technicals, So if everything that Tyree Wilson doesn't have a black belt in D-line. He doesn't have a black belt in long arms. He doesn't have a black belt in bendy dude. Nolan Smith has all those black belts, but Tyree is more physically gifted, right? And y'all know me, I'm more likely to lean towards the dude that got the black belts than the dude that's physically gifted, Will McDonald. Per Voch Lombardi, you hear me? I ain't got to say nothing else.
Man, they didn't even drop the teaser, man. They're supposed to drop the teaser on.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I mean, we doing our numbers though.
I'll drop the teaser. You keep talking.
Yeah, drop it. just put it out there for no reason. BJ Ojulari, number 5. I don't think enough people talking about BJ Ojulari. I think he's a dude that can go first round, but whatever. Luke Van Ness is a guy that, hey man, people are talking about Luke Van Ness and they talking about him being the next JJ Watt. Like, man, why you gotta be JJ Watt? Why he can't be like Kyle Vandenbosch first? Like, why he can't be Jared Allen or something? Jared Allen was good too. Like, why you gotta go straight to?
I swear, bro. They do the same thing with the tight ends. Oh man, tell you, he's the next Kittle.
Travis Kelce.
The next Travis Kelce. Like, what?
Why he can't be Jeremy Shockey?
Right. Well, Shockey was a fucking cannon. Like Kyle Rudolph or somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of them dudes. It's like that's why I don't do player comparisons. But yeah, Luke Van Ness is my 6th guy. He should be a 3 tech, but that's why they got him at. Miles Murphy wasn't as good as people thought. I'm glad he's being ranked appropriately now. So there he goes at 7. Felix Uzoma, very violent player, run game guy, could get some good sack numbers out of you. Cool. All right. Isaiah Foskey is interesting because if you watch his 2022 film, you would think he's just a left side DN. You would think that he's just a left side rundown player. But if you watch his early film from last year, he's like a rushing linebacker guy that plays Mike sometimes, So Foskey's such an interesting player. And I think it's going to depend on what coach gets him, the role that he's going to have. But Foskey's at 9. And Nick Herbig when he's pass rushing. In the run game, he's Nick him small. But pass rushing, he was one of the last quick twitchy dudes that I had on my list. And I like quick twitchy dudes in the pass game or whatever. So Nick Herbig is my last pass rushing, Some people are like, well, Voch, what about the kid from Army? Andre Carter. And he was about, I think I had him at like 11. Like 11, something like that. I was like, well, Voch, what about the kid from App State? Yeah, he was. I think he's another guy that's like 11, something like that too. Who else, chat? Who else, chat? That probably could go there. Yeah. So I think once you get to 10, the edge guys kind of really run out for you. You know what I mean? It's not like a whole bunch of edge dudes that I think I would like. People. So look, Tuli Tuipulotu, about 13. I did tell me when out of a buy rate.
I don't know what to do with him. And defensive tackle, man. Yeah,
he's a 3-tech. I don't know what to do with him. Derek Hall, I don't think he's a good player. Isaiah McGuire, he's 13. Carl
what about
Brooks,
your boy Carl? Yeah, him.
3-tech for me. 3-tech for me. Yaya Diaby, I don't think he's good. The San Jose State kid, he's not that good. Yazir Abdullah, he's not that good. Go ahead. Keon White ain't good to me neither. But Keon White's a dude that's closer to 11 than a dude that like Yaya Diaby just ain't gonna be in this. He ain't gonna be near this top 10. But Keon White would be a dude that's like 11 with Andre Carter. Yeah, he'll be right there with DeAndre Carter. But I do think Keon White's overrated as shit. Like once upon a time, people was looking at Keon White to go like 10th overall.
Yeah. Early mocks and stuff, yeah, or early rankings.
I don't know where the hell they got that from, Will, still, but we're not having it.
They place it Miles Murphy.
Pretty much. Zach Harrison from Ohio State. I actually like him too. He'll be a dude that go like 11. KJ Henry from Clemson. He ain't good. But there you go. Did I mention Derek Hall ain't good neither?
Yeah.
Okay, Derek Hall.
Wait, you know who is good? Will McDonald.
Oh, Will McDonald.
If he not going to do it, I'm going to do it. Voch had a fantastic interview with Will McDonald, and it got shouted out by .com, by the way, because it was that damn good. And you can only get the nuggets you got from that interview by watching that interview. And if you missed it, man, here's a quick little recap of what went down.
If you had to rush against those guys, how would you beat those guys? So have you seen those guys play? Have you seen those tackles play, left and right tackle play?
Nah, not a lot. But I mean, to be honest, I feel like I'm confident enough to beat anybody. But I'm just letting my body kind of like react to everything that I'm basically making him give me. So here, I'm rushing upfield. I know he's going to turn his shoulders. And he's like, I can easily take the inside if I want to. And like, from an O-lineman's perspective, he's not thinking about, being straight down the line of like my chest and everything. He's thinking about like, oh man, all right, you know what? He's real fast. Let me hurry up and kick out, blah, blah. Like that's what he's thinking about. So I'm just kind of like abusing that, and that power, rushing upfield, getting their shoulders turned. Yeah. And just working off that. But I'm always got a plan, always got a counter on top of that counter.
Sure.
I'm always thinking, because every time I'm on the line, especially in this defense, I always had to think about, all right, I got to get past like 3 dudes. How I'm going to do that? And I'm obviously knowing they're going to slide it my way. And so, like, my rush is, all right, I'm going to get him out the way. I'm going to leave him upfield. I'm going to get him out the way. Then if I got the guard, I can get that one-on-one with the guard if I leave. If I lead the center up, if I lead the tackle upfield, I can hurry up and get like that a tight space.
Right.
And so I was always good at working with tight spaces. Cause like that just helped with my jujitsu that I be doing.
That's fire, man. Did you get a chance to meet Dan Quinn, defense coordinator?
I did. Yeah, I had talked to him the most. He was just talking about life and stuff. And A real cool dude. He was at my pro day.
Yeah.
He actually ran some of the pro day drills and stuff. So yeah, it was a real cool dude. He taught me a lot of stuff. A real laid back coach. It'd definitely be an honor, if I was to get coached by him.
Oh man! So when Dan Quinn talks to you, when Jerry Jones talks, you probably talk to many other coaches also. Did they tell you about where they're trying to play you? How much weight do they want to put on you? Because I was watching some of your film and they lined you up in B gaps sometimes. I'm like, yeah, come on, you got to stand them up a little bit, let them bend, let them rest. Like, did they have a plan for you when you talked to them?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of want to be like, kind of like all over, kind of like Michael Parsons is.
Come on,
just like playing that role.
Come on,
like
sure.
doing whatever I do.
Sure.
Just trying to get some production to the team.
Sure, fair enough.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A little snippet of Voch's fantastic interview. You can catch the full interview, about 20 minutes long, on the volume page. Check it all out, man.
And we'll still appreciate you, man. Humbly, of course, humbly and all that. I've never been the type to interview anybody. You know what I mean? I just don't feel like me asking questions is very productive. I just wouldn't know what to ask somebody. But it ended up not being as bad as I thought. And I think it's something that we need to do moving forward. And we'll start earlier next time, so we can have, many people. We're going to get ingratiated with the Cowboy players and have them on, reach out to more draft guys in the draft process, have them on. My expertise is O-line, D-line, edge, of course. So, many people have said well, Voch, it's like a Gruden quarterback camp for boom, boom, boom. That's the vibe. If I had to pull off a vibe, that'll be the vibe that I go for. So y'all can anticipate more and more of that. But Will, what a thoughtful player though.
Yes.
I not that I anticipated him to just be a dude to be like, I run down the middle of people till something happened. I didn't think he was gonna be that guy, but he had a detailed rundown for every play, and it was like, hey, what about I remember that play. Oh man, I went don't. I'm like, okay, sir.
And that's what I love and try to explain to my viewers is that we don't get a chance when we're scouting or evaluating or whatever. We just see the player on the field, and that's all we can go off of. But sometimes, and I try to do this over the last couple of years, go find an interview. Go find him sitting down talking to somebody. I did it with who's the LSU linebacker we took last year, Clark. I listened to Clark and I was like, oh wow, this is an intelligent player, and that translates, when you're playing and you're in that film room and whatnot. And when you ask him the question or when you showed him the film and he's talking about his pass rush plan and what he did here against this guy and setting him up, I'm like, okay, this isn't just a guy that's trying to beat you with his physical tools. Yeah. So if you got physical tools and you can bring the mental part of the game, that's a scary player with a ceiling that's extremely high.
Yeah. And I don't know if he was supposed to tell me this, but I mean, shit, it's just reporting. What you want me to say? He said, Dan want to use me all over like Michael Parsons. Because we would always talk about that, right? We would always talk about what that would be like. Dan, Micah, Sam Williams and Will McDonald, all the same system. You know what I mean? I just end game, sir. So me and Will Steele was talking about it, and we think that if Will McDonald was to get to your Cowboys, certain players will have to come off the board. I think the Cowboys got like a solid 5 dudes that they're looking for, and I think Will McDonald's one of them, man. I think Will McDonald's one of them, and Will, if you haven't noticed, just lately just consuming Cowboys content, Broad is leaning close to the microphone saying, "Hey, it's looking like Bears, look like Kincaid." Darnell Wright, if he's there, yeah, they'll take Bijan. Hey, well, what about this Darnell Wright kid? And then they'll talk about Drew Sanders or something like that. I think Drew Sanders is the true wiped out guy. But it's looking like one of the 2 pass rushers, one of the 2 tight ends, or Darnell Wright. That's what, or the running back. That's what it's looking like for us. So draft night should be fun. The first night should be fun. All the nights should be fun.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. All right, let's let's run through this mock draft real fast, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Will Stilt. And of course, Will McDonald is the Cowboys pick. Of course. Yeah. All right.
There we go.
Now, I would love to have Bijan Robinson. I would love to have Darnell Wright, and I would love to be slick and snivy and slide them to 26, man. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Darnell Wright is too good of a player. I think Bijan is too good of a player, you know what I'm saying? To even have those dudes here, you know what I mean?
So yeah, I think Wright and Bijan are going to be off the board.
Yeah. So I mean, it's looking like one of the tight ends. It's looking like Will McDonald, but we just kind of run down it. The two quarterbacks go first. I really don't see this world where the Texans are on the board. A quarterback is there. They've done the work to get this pick, and they go, "I'm gonna take Will Anderson, a dude that we already don't feel great about taking top 5 anyway, compared to the edges that go top 5. That just wouldn't make sense to me. But this is the time of year where like Mac Jones comes out as the 3rd overall pick allegedly. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna feed too much into it, but I just put a quarterback there. Will Anderson goes 3rd overall, in which I think you can trade back and get Will Anderson if you're the Arizona Cardinals. Somebody may come up to get your pick. You trade back a few spots. There you go. Anthony Richardson to the Colts. Jalen Carter, the best player in the draft, in my opinion, goes number 5. The Lions get their corner after moving on from Jeff Okudah, which is still madness. I see a lot of mocks that have the Raiders not taking quarterback. I think that's nonsense. Go ahead and give them Will Levis and quit playing. Tyree Wilson goes to the Atlanta Falcons, and we've talked about this a few times. Will Steele, Bijan to the Bears, right?
Yeah.
But Voch, shouldn't the Bears go offensive line? Well, I don't think the Bears are going to win a Super Bowl this year or the next year. So in my personal opinion, just get the best dude. Get the best dude you can possibly get. And the best dude right now is that running back. And luckily for you, you ain't got to have the best offensive line in the world
that's very true.
Yeah. Then once you get to the second round, once you get to your other picks, you can build your offensive line then. Also, I think the value makes sense, right? 9th overall, Will Steele. Bijan Robinson looked like a player that you should be getting 9th overall. Peter Skoronski does not, unfortunately, you know? So I'm sure people are going to look at this and be like, why isn't Skoronski at 9th overall? I just don't think he's a player that belongs there. This ain't what Voch would do. If this is what Voch would do, then DeJuan Jones would have been like 3 or something, but this, whatever. But Skoronski does go to the Eagles though, so shouts out to people. So shouts out to Skoronski.
In this case, he probably slides in the guard, right?
Yep, he's gonna be a guard for the Eagles. Fair enough. He's gonna go in there and protect Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts is gonna run into the back of him, and somebody's gonna run into the back of Jalen Hurts till they officially change the rule, and there we go. But Paris Johnson flies right back off the board. Also, I think the Titans are a target to move up and go and get a quarterback. But if they don't, y'all ain't gonna win the Super Bowl this year. So hey, just build your team, build your house. If Treylon Burks not gonna be a wide receiver that's taking over for you, then draft another receiver to complement Treylon Burks. That'd be good if Njigba doesn't go 12. But there you go. I think Dalton Kincaid to the Green Bay Packers, because if Jordan Love is going to be your guy, then get him a wide receiver option in his prove-it deal. Jordan Love is basically on this prove-it deal now, I don't think you extend him right now because you don't know what you're getting. Will, do you think that 13th overall Green Bay Packers is a destination for maybe like a Hendon Hooker type character, or are they just going to roll the dice on some quarterback just to see?
I think they're all in on Love for this year. It would be I'd be hilarious if they took quarterback in round 1, and they just went through the whole Aaron Rodgers thing with quarterback in round 1 sitting the bench. So I think they'll sit this one out.
Christian Gonzalez falls into the lap of the New England Patriots. He kind of fell a little bit, but I just think this run on offensive line is pretty realistic. You know what I mean? I think that's something that can really happen. And Christian Gonzalez just ends up coming off the board at 14th overall. Who cares? Whatever, some mock draft. Nolan Smith comes off the board at 15, and I rarely see quarterback go to the Washington Football Wizards, but I don't believe in no Sam Howell, and there's no way they believe in Sam Howell neither, man. Go ahead and get a quarterback. Washington, quit playing so much. I was gonna ask you a question, Will. What do you think about this whole Chase Young situation, Will? Like, should we just have a little giggle?
Comical, man.
We have a little giggle about that. What's going on with that, man?
He ain't live up to a 5th-year option. I ain't trying to be revisit or whatever, but how did you think that was smart to take him over a quarterback and you're Washington?
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't smart at all. But you know what? That's their business.
That's their problem.
I'm not in the business of helping them. But yeah, oh boy, like
it wasn't. They should have went remember the year where Joey Bosa was clearly the best defensive player in the draft. Clearly one of the top 5 players, but Joey Bosa didn't go 1 or 2 because the Rams and Eagles weren't stupid enough to pass on a quarterback because it needed a franchise quarterback. Now, did it work out all the way? No, it kind of did, but it didn't work out long term. But you don't pass up a franchise quarterback for the pass rush. I'm sorry.
Which is the same thing that I'm saying about the Texans, right? Like, why would you pass up a potential franchise quarterback for Will Anderson? And Will Anderson ain't even Chase Young, to be fair. So,
and that's what everybody's talking about. And it wasn't even talking about Will Anderson. They're talking Tyree Wilson.
Same thing. Yeah, him too.
Yeah, like I'm listen, take that cue, see what you got, and if it don't work out, I've seen the Cardinals get rid of a first round top 10 pick the very next year. Chase
Young over Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa. That's nasty work, man. That's nasty work, bro. But fuck him, I don't care about him. Joey Porter goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cool, appreciate you. Cool little work for you. Luke Van Ness goes to the Lions. It's much better than going top 10 for me. I don't see Luke Van Ness as top 10 player. Whatever. Broderick Jones goes 19th overall. Khalid Kancey goes 20. All right, perfect, cool. Kellen Moore comes in. He got some wide receivers on that team already, but go and get him a tight end who's really a wide receiver. Also, Luke Musgrave catching passes from Justin Herbert. That's going to be pretty fun. And those are passes that should be going to Austin Eckler, but they not be. So it is what it is. Baltimore Ravens going to get Zay Flowers. Cool, perfect. I think the Minnesota Vikings are just in a, they're just in a situation where they're just trying to get the best defenders that they possibly can. Cool, go get Brian Branch. Add him to the list. I think Brian Branch would be a good, cool little first round player. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to add Michael Mayer, and they're going to add Calvin Ridley, and they're going to throw him in there with the other guys. They got Christian Kirk, and they're going to have a little party over there in Jacksonville. That's what I got for them. Darnell Wright, who can play guard and tackle, ends up going to the New York Giants. If we get to the 25th pick and Darnell Wright has to come off the board, Will Steele.
Well,
let me ask you, what pick? Do you trade up for Darnell Wright at all?
Yeah, I would contact Baltimore. I would contact Baltimore at 22. If they don't want it, then I'm contacting Minnesota and I'm contacting Jacksonville.
You go call everybody?
I'm calling everybody after pick 21.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn, man, I like Darnell Wright, but I just don't think he'll be there. I think you have to move around to go get him. And that's what I think Jerry was talking about. Jerry in his press conference was talking about the idea of moving around. I think Darnell Wright's a guy to move up for. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, early in the draft process, you remember they was coming out and was like, hey man, we got Ron Leary, but the kid we want to draft is like Ron Leary, but he moves well. We was like, man, that ain't Avila. I don't think that
ain't Avila, but
I think that was Darnell Wright this whole time.
I don't think it's him either though. But because I heard Brian say that on the draft show, like, yeah, man, he's like a athletic Ron. I'm like, what do y'all? Am I mistaken here? Ron Leary was like he was like a short, sloppy looking dude that just could ball. Darnell Wright is
athlete,
anything but that, He reminds me of a more athletic Lyle or a healthy early Lyle, in my opinion, than he does around Larry. But that's just me.
I'll take that too. And Will McDonald is your Cowboys first round pick. There you go. Shouts out to you. That'll be great for the show, wouldn't it, Will Steele? Let's see. Quentin Johnston goes to the Buffalo Bills. I hate it, but whatever, man. You've been. Sam Laporta goes to the Bengals. I think that's a fantastic fit for the Bengals. There you go. I do think tight end is going to kind of fly off the board a little bit. Darnell Washington went to the Cowboys second round pick, by the way. I didn't document that though. That's just what I want. Mozzie Smith went 29. Brian Breesy went to the Eagles. Shouts out to Brian Breesy to the Eagles. I think that's a good player for the Eagles, man. Yeah, you know what I mean? The Eagles like to be in that D-line race every year. You know what I mean? So go ahead and put Brian Brees on the Eagles. Shouts out to him. That's a great pick for the Eagles. And Miles Murphy goes 31 to the Kansas City Chiefs. There you go.
Sam Laporta and Luke Musgrave. The draft always does something crazy, and I feel like those would be that makes sense because I feel like the Chargers are going to take a tight end. They could take a tight end, I should say.
Yep. I tell you what though, Will Steele, team suck at drafting. So yeah. I made 31 picks that look relatively logical. Man, come on, man. Somebody gonna mess this up. Somebody's gonna screw this up and just make a horrific pick. But as long as my team don't do it, who cares?
Right.
All right, let's get to the phones, man.
Let's get into the phones, man.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. We're about to get into the phones real quick. Yeah, we about to. La 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 la. Let's get into it, man. Let's see what y'all gotta say before we wrap up this lovely show.
Nut, man.
Get ready for the next few days. Los, what up?
Yo, good afternoon, Voch. Good afternoon, Sky. Hope you're having a great afternoon. And like you're saying, man, one of these teams are gonna mess up, and like I just hope they, I hope by the grace of Jesus, they can be reaching for all these people and let Bijan. I hope that man, if they let Bijan fall to us, man, let them watch.
Yeah,
let them watch. But other than that, I'm gonna give you my final mock draft watch. My top 5 top guys that in order. You tell me your thoughts. So on the 26th, Will McDonald. For the 58, Cedric Tillman. For 90, Cameron Latu, Alabama tight end.
Oof.
129, King Bisbee. And then at 176, I got Juice Scruggs. And maybe transfer, making him to play guard. But I don't know. He's still a good center.
What round you got Cam in?
Who?
The tight end from Alabama. Yeah.
90.
I don't like
Third
this.
round?
Alabama. Yes, sir.
That
Man,
second
Los,
and
you
third
had me,
round. Yeah, the second, third round pick rough.
Yeah. That's a little rough, man. That's a little rough. 90 a little rough, Los. But besides that, I can live with what you're saying. Who you had in the second round?
Yeah, Tillman.
I got Cedric Tillman.
I wouldn't go Tillman.
I would rather Tillman in the third round, but I mean I can live with it. But I would rather him in the third round, Los. I got you. But sure, okay, that's okay. But yeah, second and third round kind of rough for me, Los. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. But that first round, Will McDonald, we can talk about it.
Hey, these are all about in saying what I feel like the Cowboys are going to try to go offense, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they're just. I think they're going to try to load up on offense and maybe try to pick up 1 or 2 players defensively. But yeah, that's my thoughts. You have a great afternoon. You do a great job like always. And who knows who we pick up? All I know is whoever we pick up, we're going to line up against those damn Eagles, those damn Commanders, those damn. Whoever we line up, and we're gonna beat the out of them. All right, that's all I gotta say. Peace.
Appreciate you, Los. Tune in tomorrow night, man. Yeah, Los, I hate that draft, dog. Boy, Los, I love you to pieces, man. But I understand what you're doing. You was leaning on that 30 visit list, and which you are smart to do that. But
yeah,
boy, just put them where they belong first. Yeah,
Juice is a center, I think.
Juice Scruggs is a center slash guard from Penn State. Yeah,
I don't want to like on that guard right now, but and then the tight end is definitely too hard for me. I like Tillman too. It's kind of the same boat as Mingo for me. If you took him in the second round, like you said, you could probably live with it. But what happens around him? Like what's around it? Yeah, I'd rather
who on the board when you took Tillman
on the board, and then who you taking after. If you're going Tillman, then that tight end, I'm a tight end. Period. At that point, I'll probably be all right.
4 teams will screw it up.
Somebody said, "Who's your Cole Strange this year?" Remember Cole Strange out of the fucking blue?
Chattanooga. yeah, Chattanooga.
No, I'm saying, remember last year out of the blue, he went in round 1.
Yeah. Who's gonna go in the first round and they got no business being there? Osiris Torrance. All right, let's get into the. Let's get Adrian on the phone. What's up, Adrian?
What's going on, Bosh? How's your day going?
Cooling, my guy, man. Life is good. I can't complain about nothing. You hear me?
I'm doing. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So I've been, obviously I've been listening to what you guys talking about, all these guys that we've been looking at, and when you started bringing up the difference between wrestlers and maulers, I was like, that makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, if we're picking up a guy that we're trying to go deep in the playoffs, we want to have ourselves a wrestler, because you can teach a wrestler to be a mauler, but it's hard to teach a mauler to be a wrestler. Because when you have a guy that can hand fight, a guy that can control he can control the engagement in itself, then it makes it a whole lot easier for him to do his job. And also, he's not throwing his defensive lineman into the legs of other offensive linemen.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You need both, though. You need both. Like if you can get a dude to be a wrestler and a mauler, that's fine with me. As long as they not wrestling too long, though. You know what I mean? They just got it. They got to know when to wrestle. But a fighter, just a scrappy, mean dude. I love them in my guards, man. I love my guards doing that.
So I played offensive line and I wrestled in high school.
Hey.
And the thing is, I was undersized. I was like 5'8", 185 pounds.
You was a center,
doing offensive line thing.
You was a center,
I whipped people's asses specifically because I could grab their wrist and take them wherever I want to go.
You was a center,
I have tape of me manhandling a guy that's literally twice the size of me because I was able to hand fight him.
You was a center,
Being able to. No, I was a guard.
Okay, I got you.
but I know it's weird. But all I'm saying, and I play D-line too. It is very hard for it's when you're in such tight spaces and you can grab hands and grab wrists.
Yeah.
It makes it very easy for you to win fights. You can get people off of you. You don't have to worry about people grabbing cloth and pulling cloth when you can control hands.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be better for us to find somebody who's a wrestler and then we can get them to be a little bit more aggressive.
Sure. I like that.
And then the last thing, in terms of wide receivers, as much as I do like Quentin Johnston, I think we just need a get open guy since we don't have Dalton Schultz anymore. We need a Cole Beasley type and a Amari Cooper type where we can have like a safety blanket, either wide receiver or tight end for Dak, because if we have plenty of guys like Michael Gallup, CD Lamb. I'm hoping Simi Fehoko and the other guys on this roster who are tall, fast, and they can go up and body people. They can do those jobs down the line. We need quick, fast, and in good hands for like possession receivers.
Sure.
Because we have plenty of guys that can get yacked nowadays.
Sure. Fair enough. Appreciate you, man. Good call. And to Adrian's point, I really like what he was saying because Osiris could be a mauler. I just think he's a little soft. Well, I think he's a little lazy. You know what I mean? So you gotta have wrestle in him. You know what I mean? And Osiris could be a dude that proves me wrong. Like he gets to the league, gets some fire under his ass. He ends up being a good offensive lineman. But you don't show me that on film right now. So what you want me to say about you? You know what I mean? If he had more fire, he'll probably produce better. Antonio Mafi has fire under his ass, and you see it.
Yes.
See it. And Zach Charbonnet benefits from that. So
that's the thing with Torrance, man, is I think he has the skill set, but what was the word we used? I don't use the word lazy. You used the word lazy. Nonchalant. That's what it was. It was nonchalant. It just seemed very nonchalant with him. He said something in there that we definitely need to talk about more in regards to route running type guys. Even though we're getting into a West Coast system that should help these wide receivers a little bit easier. The Charlie Jones would love to have Charlie Jones on this team.
Please, let's go get him.
You talk about Tank Dell, talk about Josh now. Like I think these type of guys out of the slot could help Dak in this offense immensely because they could do some damage after the catch too. But yeah, I would never say no to a route runner type of guy. Period.
Too bad we're not going to double up a receiver though, Will.
Yeah.
Too bad. Because Charlie boy, Dak will love Charlie. Dak will love Charlie. Let's get Rico on the phone. What's up, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Voch? What's going on, guys?
Yo.
How y'all doing?
Life good,
how y'all doing?
Life good.
That's what's up, man. My first question is this: who is going to be Voch Lombardi's chair baby this year? That's what I need to know.
Oh wow!
I'll tell you something, man.
I know one person.
Listen, bro. Bijan to be ridiculous. I don't know if I'm gonna get up and hump the chair, man, because I work for a network now. And I just can't be humping the chair with that logo behind me, like just right there. You know what I mean? But boy, but Bijan is some value, dog. Bijan is some value. Either that or like Darnell at 58 to be crazy. Darnell Washington, tight end.
Shit. Oh, Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, Darnell Wright ain't gonna make it. But Darnell Washington at tight end, tight end Darnell Washington at 58, I might pick the chair up. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna hump it because I work for a network now and that logo is right behind me. I can't have that gift going around. But boy,
yeah, I'm you.
Bijan in the first, Darnell.
PG-13, got you.
Yeah, I got you. The volume is sponsored by Trojan. Damn. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. My thing is this year, man.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows who's gonna fall to us at that pick, and nobody knows who's gonna be in range for us to even move up a few spots to go get. My thing is, I just hope the Cowboys, which I know they 9 times out of 10, whoever they pick is gonna have some value. You know what I mean? And my thing is, if they move up, cool, just move up for the right piece that's gonna complement this team and possibly get us over the hump at the end of the year. That's what I really care about the most. Just who can we pick up that's gonna help us at the end of the year when this, as far as these young guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna sit here in front, man. Me hearing that Robinson dude, that defensive tackle, went to the Giants, that hurt my soul, man. But that's just the way the Cowboys roll. They don't spend money on DTs like that, you know. But at least we got Hankins back. But hopefully we can put another old school dude in the middle, a pile of dirt in the middle for this season. Because if we do get somebody like Donald, the rookie, hey man, we're gonna have the edges, but what about the middle? What we gonna do with that? Yeah. That's how I see it. But other than that, fellas, man, I'll holler at y'all, man. Good talk. Peace.
Appreciate you, Reek.
Luke.
Man, Will Steele, the one thing that I get jealous of you every time I hear you say it, because it's so creative, it's so good. It's the Boston Scientific read at the end. It's so good, Will Steele. I hate that I didn't. Look, I ain't gotta read for nothing like that, right? But you ever just seen something so good, like, man, that's good. It ain't hard, but you can be. Bro. But the timing of that shit is like, it ain't hard, but you can be. Like, bro, like it's so good.
Professor O wants it on the shirt. He said,
yeah,
put it on the shirt. Boston Scientific.
See, man, Boston Scientific ain't trying to make no money for real. They don't want to be good for real. Let's get DJ in here. What's up, sir?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Been just a minute. How y'all doing?
What's good with your player? What you got for the show?
Well, to start off with, I gotta disagree with the not the last couple guys, but the one couple ago, because he was saying how it's easier to teach a wrestler to be a model than vice versa. Not fully, but it's more what can you teach, right? For instance, they took Tyler Smith in 3 months and turned him more into a wrestler, but he was clearly a mauler before, where they had 4 years with Connor Williams and could never turn him into a mauler. So I think it really comes down to what you're good at teaching at and being aware of what that is specifically. But from what we've seen for Dallas is actually the opposite for that. On your rankings, I really feel like deep down you want to put like towards like 12 to 15, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But my question is about Voorhees. If Voorhees was healthy, how much higher, or how much would he move on your ranking, or would it just be the one spot?
I was being a coward, man. Osiris shouldn't even be on this list for me. I was just being a coward. So yeah, just act like he ain't even on the board right now. Let me see. Let me see, man. Just take off Osiris, bump everybody up one time, and put Bergeron in there somewhere. You know what I mean? Let's just do that. I was being a coward, bro. Take Osiris off the film, off the board.
Well, I mean, Voorhees, like if
I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Just then just bump Voorhees up one time. So Voorhees will be 10, Zavala will be.
Okay, so you still have him right there where, because I was interested to see, just because for me personally, I think Voorhees healthy is better than Skoronski from what I've seen. Just because he has a definitive skill set that he's good at. Yeah. Whereas Skoronski is more talented in more areas, but he doesn't have that one thing that he can have his staple on, where Voorhees does. So I think that's why I personally have him ranked a little higher. I'm not saying you're wrong. We both see what we see. It's all subjective, but that's just how I would see things, assuming Voorhees was healthy. Last thing, and I'll let you go. Wide receiver list was pretty much perfect. Still have Hyatt as my pet cat, so I think I put him over Mingo, just for the stealing side of things, like you were saying on that side. But outside of that, I mean, it's pretty much to the T. I think that's how I felt about things going in.
I like Skoronski, first of all. Let me just say this. And I like to hate on him too. Don't get me mistaken. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like he would be a good player if he knew how to deal with long arm dudes. I do like Voorhees. And I love what Voorhees brings to the table. Right. having Voorhees over Skoronski is kind of wild, bro. That's kind of wild. But I like it though. If you did your research, hey, look, Voorhees made me smile also, you know, because of his skill set. What he has in guard is what I like in guards, you know. And if that's your list, cool, I rock with it. But just me personally, I just think Skoronski is learning how, like, if he learns how to deal with long arm dudes, he'll be fine. Like, just right after that, he'll be fine. So that's just that.
Yeah, I like Voorhees too inside, but
that's a disclaimer. Like, I'm a lock on to one kind of thing. I mean, that y'all saw that with me and Hyatt. I was like, hey, he's fast, and if he's faster than you, and you ain't got nobody to keep up with him, there's nothing you can do. And that's what I really loved early on about Hyatt. And I kind of locked onto that. And with Voorhees, basically, once he gets his hands on you, it's over. It's done. You know what I mean? Long arm, short arm, power move, speed move, didn't matter. He can kind of deal with everything once he got his hands on you. And with Skoronski, I didn't see that as much. Skoronski is very talented. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. But in an argument, if you're asking me one versus the other, Skoronski's that's why it's hard to place him, right? Because you're like, oh, well, he's short-armed, he could do this, he could do that, but it's nothing definitively, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you stretch it, Voorhees being at guard makes sense, whereas, and really nothing else really does, whereas with Skoronski, it's, oh, he's definitively a tackle, but I get why people are saying he could be a guard too, that kind of thing.
Yeah, fair enough. And that can almost be the argument for why I like DeJuan Jones so much, because I just like what he does. Like, he has this skill set, and I know for sure how he's good at it, and this is how he's good. So I can understand that. Damn. But all right, DJ, that's all you got?
All right, well, yeah, that's all I got.
All right, bro, appreciate you. Will Steele, if you had to make I know it's a hard question for you, but I'm asking anyway. Like, if you had to make a top 10 for offensive linemen, like, where would Voorhees kind of fall on yours? Like, who is he better than, and who is he one person worse than?
Well, I'll go find yours real quick, because I didn't have a problem with where you had him. Where's it at? My bad. Yeah. Offensive line, there it goes. I didn't have a problem where you had him. My only thing was I was trying to see where I could fit Bergeron in there. You had him at 11, but what makes him funky is a lot of people won't have Mafi there. You taking Osiris out of there. I think Zavala's he's solid. I'm not a problem with Zavala. I just like Bergeron more. Yeah. Schmitz, I like Schmitz because of versatility. Healthy, Voorhees is, I think, top 10. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. You know how high I am on Anton Harrison. The rest of these guys are about right. So I think he'd be top 10 if he was healthy. I think he would have went in the second round. I do.
Chad, I apologize, man. I was being so phony with Osiris, man. He shouldn't even be here, man. My bad, Joe. I submitted this list weeks ago, and I went back and watched film. Like, I just wish I could cross a line through there and just put a different name. But it'll mess up the graphic, man. Osiris ain't good, man. That's I'm 10 toes down on that, dog. I ain't changed my Osiris ain't good. My bad, Chad. I was being a coward. Y'all expect more of me, and I shouldn't be being a coward out here, boy. Osiris ain't good, man.
But I don't think Voorhees is better than Skoronski.
No.
He said he doesn't do anything. I think Skoronski is an elite pass blocker. Like, I think he's elite in that sense. But you talked about dealing with the long arm stuff. Man, somebody I'd have to talk to you more about it and Duke about it, and wondering if that's something that he could get away with or in the league, and how many of those guys who don't have, super long arms at tackle, do they get away with that? But it
ain't hard to learn.
Yeah, I like him. And if he was on my team, I'd be happy.
Yeah. It's just certain things that you can do to deal with long arm guys. Slater does it well. Like, sometimes it's about timing. When those guys go to punch, there's different moves to get those punches off you. If they do engage you, you can lift hands off you. If they got a grip that you can't get off, go at the elbows. You know what I mean? The elbows are gonna bend. When the elbows bend, they get a little closer to you, and then you can work your offense. You can swim inside. Work your little moves like that. It's a lot of things you could do, man. It's just that Skoronski just don't do them.
But he has the bandwidth, right, to learn it, because I think he has sound technique. Like, I'm trying to learn more of the nuances of the game. But when I watch his sets, he just seems like he has it all up here. When I say up here, I mean, you can't see me, but all up here to get it to get it locked in, right? It's just, can he get coached up to do it consistently or at a high level consistently? All these dudes have ceilings, right? All these dudes have a bandwidth to get better. I just think like Skoronski from top to bottom, I don't think he does anything extremely poor, right? Like you can talk about everybody's flaws, but I think his flaws, if corrected, or in which they can be corrected, I think. I mean, he can't grow longer arms, but I think he can learn to get a bit stronger, which will help him with his anchor. But if I could beat you with technique too, if I can learn that, if I can get that down pat first as I'm getting stronger, he could be on my team. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. And, also, Will, like, you want to, learn some O-line stuff, like, we friends in real life, like, we friends.
Oh, trust and believe. I got a cheat code. I already know.
We friends. I got you. Let's get the last call out here, man, so we can go ahead and clock out so I can have my salad for the day. Z, what up?
Hey, how you gentlemen doing?
Cool, my guy. What you got for sure?
So I wanted to ask you a quick question. I'm a Wizards fan, and I never heard the origin of why you called the Commanders the Washington Wizards.
Because I refuse to call them Commanders. And before they were Commanders, they were just Washington football team.
The Washington football team. That's
yeah. So
you just didn't want to call them football team?
Nah. So like when you see people talk about the New York Giants, where they're like the New York Football Giants or whatever, right? I guess because there's a New York Giants that's not football, I guess. So all right, so cool. We're just gonna give Washington a name of an existing Washington team, the Wizards. We're just gonna call them just the Washington Football Wizards. Why not?
Who are also mid.
There you go. Who are they? I only watch basketball like that, but if they mid, then it just works better. Cool, perfect.
It's sad how mid they are. All right, I wanted to ask you about the wide receiver ranking. Well, I wanted to add a quick note on Peter Skoronski.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure when only reason why he's playing tackle is because during the COVID year, Northwestern, they had a bunch of their players opt out, and Peter Skoronski, he's like by far their best player on their offensive line, and they need a tackle. So they're like, hey, can you play tackle for us? He might not have the arm length to play in the NFL, but I think it's perfectly fine if you knock him back inside. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was recruited to play center, and they ended up having to kick him out to play tackle. So I think that's a plus. If I had to comp him, his high end would probably be, I don't want to say Zach Martin because
don't say
pretty.
Don't say it. Just don't say it.
I would say probably like a Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney thing with him is I think he has good enough pass protection to play. Never mind. I'm getting off track. I wanted to ask you about cornerback Deontay Banks. Have you evaluated him at all?
Yep.
What are your thoughts on him? I personally have him as cornerback 3 over Joey Porter behind Christian Gonzalez and Devon Witherspoon. I want him to drop to my Ravens at 22. Now that we signed OBJ, I think cornerback 2 is a pretty big need at the moment. I don't like any of the guys outside of Marlon Humphrey on their depth chart at the moment, and I think he could play cornerback 2 day 1 in this league.
So I think he checks a lot of boxes physically. Teams are gonna lean towards guys that do that. But Voch is a nuanced guy. Voch is a technique guy.
Yeah.
Voch is I need you to know what you're doing at all times guy. And he don't always give you that. He don't always give you that. I think he's a guy that's gonna take a little bit of coaching to get where I would if I was a coach. If I was calling this team or whatever, I would want somebody to kind of teach him the nuances of the game because I don't think he has that, just yet. But he has the physical build, and the exact opposite of him is Forbes, in which Forbes got all the technical shit you want.
Yeah.
He got all the ball skills you want, all the playability you want, but he just his body wise, physically he's not what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two dudes that are the opposite of each other.
Yeah, I was looking at Forbes. Ravens only have 5 picks, and that's very unlike the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
They like to draft as many players as they can. So if the Ravens were to trade back and they couldn't get Deontay Banks, I was really looking at Forbes early second, mid second. He reminds me a lot of Marcus Peters. You could just call me biased because I watch a lot of Marcus Peters, but he has really good ball skills. He dates a lot, but I've watched a very limited amount of Forbes. Appreciate you having me on. Have a good day.
Appreciate you, Z. Thanks for calling, bro. Next time something happens with Lamar Jackson, we're going to have you on because we know you're the correspondent.
I was about to say, when he's brought up, I didn't know this was Z. When he brought up Peters, I said, is this Z? Is this the Ravens guy? And sure it was.
That's Z, the Ravens guy. That's Z. That's our guy. Appreciate y'all. Matt Owen says Forbes is my cornerback number one because I'm not a coward. Hey man, appreciate you, bro. You are better than me because I'm a coward with this Osiris shit. Hey man, Matt Owen, I'm gonna look at your big board. Life just crazy. It's like whenever you ask me to look at your big board, like I'm about to go in dojo or something, or I'm about to do some work on Patreon, or I'm about to go bother my old lady or something, or I'm about to eat. Before the draft, Matt Owen, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna look at your board, and I'm gonna tell you that I looked at it, and I'm gonna congratulate you on one of your rankings, and I'm gonna tell you what I don't like about one of the other ones. That's what I'm gonna do, Matt Owen. I promise you, man. I just be busy. Appreciate you though. Soup. Let's get into it. Today is the 26th. Okay, cool little crew over there. What about over here? Let me hit refresh. All right, let's get started. On the volume side, Guillotine 06, appreciate you, sir. Who's your route running? I like how like people talk like us now, Will Steele, how they like, you know what I mean? Who's your route running, create separation wide receiver? Jaxon-Njigba, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, Charlie. What's my man's from Stanford?
I was just about to say Michael Wilson, bro.
My homie from Stanford.
I think Wilson is I like that. I like that kid, but Professor O scared me with the injuries. He told me it hurt guys. So
this is a year for the little bit of receive and the big ass corner, Will Steve. This
which is why guys like Mingo, Tillman with the size are coveted a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure some more guys I'm just not thinking about. Give me 2 seconds here. Fuck it, I ain't gonna go through. I can't find it. But yeah, man, those are some guys. Those are some guys. Charlie though.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie on his way, man. Charlie on his way. Appreciate you, man. George Wilson. George Russian dropped 3 deuces. That's 6 altogether. Appreciate you. I think this is wide receiver ranking. So he got Jaxon-Njigba, Jordan Addison. Is CJ supposed to be Charlie Jones? Is there another?
Only CJ.
Is there another top wide receiver prospect that's CJ? Here's my wide receiver. So Cedric, no. Damn, Charlie Jones is your third guy, huh?
I don't know why he would list the initials like that.
Yeah. Hey, but cool. We're the experts, Will Steele.
Maybe he probably meant QJ. What Professor O said.
Nah, cause QJ 5th.
Oh, okay.
So CJ is 3rd, JM, which is Jonathan Mingo, probably is 4th. Quentin Johnston, QJ is 5.
Wow.
There you go. Then his second one says, if Butte stayed on track, would he be top 3? Yeah, but his ass off track, boy. Y'all notice I haven't said a thing about Butte since the combine.
Since the first time we talked about Butte. Yeah.
I mentioned his ass once. I don't have a thing to say about Kayshon Butte. If you can get him to focus, he might go undrafted Will still. So if you can get him and figure out how to make him to do what he once was,
is he this year's Weidemeyer?
There you go, Will Steele.
Huh.
There you go. And George's last super was, I think the Lions go CG and the Raiders go DW, not quarterback. Who is CG? Shit.
With these initials, bro.
Raiders go CG. The Raiders. Christian Gonzalez, okay. And so he thinks the Lions go Christian Gonzalez and the Raiders go.
What's the initial?
DW.
Darnell Washington?
Not for the Raiders at 7.
No, but
Darnell Wright can't be the Raiders.
Darnell Wright. There you go.
He can't be the Raiders. The Raiders at 7?
I mean, I don't. What other DWs did we?
Yeah. I'm just gonna move on. Dominique Weathersby is gonna go 7th overall. I appreciate you, bro. Let's get to the Vice side, man. Let me refresh one more time. All right, that's everything. Marcus Harris, we getting ready, sir. Devon Witherspoon.
There's the other D-Dub. Oh, that makes more sense now.
Devon Witherspoon. Yeah, so just switch corners. Yeah. And on the Vice side, we got Smoke one for you. Smoke weed every day. He dropped a dime and says, Voch, I'm with Foots on Josh Wiley. Yes, sir. I like Wiley. You know, Cowboys just explained the type of tight end that they look for. So, and that's why I also think that Musgrave and Kincaid not options neither. But then he said Gibbs right or McDonald first, then wide receiver or corner in the second. Let's go, y'all. Y'all the best in the business. All of y'all salute. Appreciate Smoke one for you.
Ended up getting Wiley. Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
Ended up getting Wiley in would have been round 5, but I took him in round 4 because I did a 4-round mock. And my fourth round pick. And I liked it.
That's a good place to get him. That's a good place to get him. Tommy M dropped a dime. No comment. Just wanted to show some love. Appreciate you. And Anime Dolphin dropped a 5. Says, I agree with your Dewan opinion. But stop being a coward. My O-line ranking came out this weekend, and Darnell Wright is clearly number 2. Hey, man, you're right. I shouldn't be a coward with my O-lineman. Darnell Wright should be my number 2 guy. Dewan is my number 1 guy. Appreciate you, Anime Dolphin, for keep me on track, making me follow the rules up here. Appreciate you, sir. Phone home.
We about to get a notification out of the show.
Beethoven has claimed his this ain't Beethoven, this is some French Italian name.
What was the Eddie Murphy movie? They about to claim it.
Yeah.
Trading places.
Marcus Hardison says, at the volume, that's me, Will Steele, and Will McDonald, by the way.
Come on now. Talking into existence here.
At the volume, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Amen. Hold on. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Salute to Voch and Sky for taking flight and allowing us to enjoy the ride with them. Grateful. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Marcus.
You know where we sleep at. UNLV. Appreciate you, sir. That was cold, Will.
Yeah.
It was cold. Hey, man. Voch, Sky, Draymond Green, and Will McDonald. Come on, man. My colleagues. Hey, man, what a show. Hey, Will, you think the volume of dole out some money to get us a weekly Will McDonald podcast if he was a Cowboy or something like that?
Listen, I think they would. There's another big name they talking to. So
yeah,
if we push them a little bit, pretty sure
like a weekly. Well, we know it ain't Michael because Michael will flake out on a weekly. Apparently.
Well,
that will flake out a weekly. But you know, so you know what I mean. Just get a guy weekly in here. You think volume will pay like?
Will McDonald rookie ain't gonna cost too much.
We can get him cheap now before we start sacking people. Yeah.
Facts.
All right. Fantastic show, man. Fantastic show. Like I said, man, I'm gonna get a lot of sleep tonight. I'm gonna get a lot of rest in the morning. I know I'm gonna try to be out the bed early, but I'm gonna rest my body to prepare for the whooping that y'all putting on me. I'm gonna make sure I got a couple Celsius in the refrigerator. Make sure my ceiling fan's running. You know what I mean? I want to be comfortable as possible. I don't want to be falling asleep on y'all. Because when it's time to get that work, it's time to work. We will rest later. Love y'all to pieces, man. Y'all be sure to hit all the buttons, all the likes, all the subscribe buttons. The volume needs to see this. Also, if you haven't seen my Will McDonald interview, it's there. Go to the Vice side, man. Go check out the Will McDonald interview. We broke down film. We talked about his 30 visit. We talked about breaking the Big 12 sack record. It was Von Miller's record, by the way, and he was the one that broke it. Hey, go just check out the interview. His 30 visit, all that, man. Go over there, check that out. The Will McDonald interview. I have it separated if you want to see just the film or the whole interview, but watch the whole interview. It's all good stuff in there. Follow me on all my socials, VOCHLOMBARDI, patreon.com/Voch Lombardi, and twitch.tv/Voch Lombardi. Twitch is my non-football platform. Patreon is where we've been watching film all year. Appreciate my guys that's been in there, supporting the Patreon, watching the Patreon with me, man. It's time for all that to pay off, I got a radio appearance later. I'll be on 105.3 The Fan with the Gear Right with Reg. So y'all can tune into that if y'all want to, if y'all ain't doing nothing else. My point guard, Master William, everywhere I go, he coming with me, man. We like Buck and Aikman, you know what I mean? Y'all follow him on all his work, Skywalker Steele, STEELE on social media, and A to Z Dallas. He'll also be doing some draft coverage. So hey, tap in with them, tap in with me, share those views. If you want to watch one of us after, one of us during, that's fine. But him and Fuster King are going to be putting in some good work for the Cowboys pick. So right around pick 16, 17, 18, go over there and check them out. Appreciate you, sir. And for the rest of y'all hooligans, man, y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski, the Peasky Whiskey. I'll see you Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for our live draft coverage. It'll be fun, exhausting for me, but it'll be cool for y'all. Volume.
Are you not entertained? Are you not
Marcus Hardison, bro. He said this is dope. Shout out to my Negans of Nuance. That might have to be a shirt.
Come on, man.
Negans of Nuance. That's hard.
When they call him like, hey, what does Negan mean?
Nah, we can't tell him that.
We see Walking Dead.
Yeah. Check out